Does that make sense?
It does, but it sounds to me like it's a very high standard. Like it almost sounds like even if you had a quote unquote optimized routine, the
Hmm.
probabilities of reaching that threshold would still actually sound underwhelming because it's a hard thing to achieve regardless.
For
Uh,
sure.
so I mean, you guys are the experts. It's just from a communication standpoint, it almost sounds like okay, maybe one set, like one maybe this like one set, one heavy single per week or 1 to 2 heavy singles a week is maybe not the best thing to do. But to me, it sounds like even on a high level, that's a very viable strategy.
I
Um,
agree.
and I should say, I mean, like it's not really new. Like I think for a while, there's been a camp of powerlifters who do the heavy single every day style of training, like a
Yeah.
Bulgarian style approach, if you will, right? And so I think it has like, let's say, real world viability as well. Like
Hmm.
people have had success with this approach. I think the issue that comes up from the other side, like say like the volume side, if you will, uh, maybe along the lines of, well, is this really sustainable? You know what I mean? Like, would you be able to do heavy singles twice a week for longer than 6 weeks? Like, this
Hmm.
almost might be like an approach to like specialize, if you will, or like it almost even sounds like a bit of a peaking approach. So even though it's a bit too low volume for what I would use for that, right? But
Hmm.
nonetheless, I think one could argue that okay, perhaps it's not surprising that you'd see pretty impressive gains in a 6 week time frame, but then how would that play out over the long term?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the just one thing I wanted to add, although the one group that was doing just the singles, their probabilities of achieving, important changes were quite low. The group just that did the singles and then added two backup sets of three, which is not that much extra work, they had a 99% chance of achieving superior gains than what the coaches and athletes regarded as meaningful.